Hello, and welcome to episode 162 of Checkpoint Chat. My name is Alessandro Barbos, and I'm joined by Matthew Figuera.
A very colorful Heritage Day shirt wearing.
Heritage Day to you.
This is not the color of Portugal, let me tell you. It's the color of a city run shirt.
It looks like the color of multiple jelly babies, to be honest.
It does. It's like jelly babies. Oh my God, I don't know why my camera keeps doing this. Jelly babies just threw up on my shirt.
They threw, yeah. Or they got liquidized and woven into the fabric.
Yeah. Or somebody ate a whole lot of jelly babies and went.
I mean, it's kind of
way.
useful because if you're drinking like Game or one of those like, very sugary energy drinks, you can throw up on yourself and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
No one will be the wiser.
That is what happened.
It also looks like you fell on the road, but the tarmac was like made of a rainbow, and then you just rolled around in it for a little bit.
I'm bruised underneath this shirt, let me tell you. Yeah, but we're recording
for a nice Heritage Day run.
Yeah, it's a lovely little public holiday, a Heritage Day in South Africa. And it's nice to have a long weekend.
Happy Bra Day.
You son of a bitch, have a whole week off. I hate you.
I'm unemployed, Matthew.
I know.
Don't bring up my misfortune. I'm unemployed for 1 week. How dare you?
It's time for this podcast to really start bringing in the bucks. Please, if you're listening.
I already told Shani she's now like my sugar mommy.
Oh my God.
She has to support me. And you're my podcast daddy now. So
yeah, you have to
I
say
don't like
to
that
her,
term at all.
if you don't pay for me and be my sugar mommy, we're gonna have to give in and let Blue Apron sponsor this podcast. Do you want that?
I would love that.
Sponsor us, Blue Apron, please.
Firstly, Blue Apron needs to come to South Africa, and then they need to sponsor us. And I would be so. I mean, I think there are services like that locally.
Yeah, there's YouCook and there's a couple of others.
Yeah. I think you tried YouCook for a while.
I tried. We tried it when the YouCook often has these promos where it's like, get your first box for half price, whatever. And we did it. And food is absolutely delicious. Recipes are great. But it's
easy to
still
follow and stuff.
Yeah, but it's still kind of expensive to order pre-packed meals and then still have to cook it.
Yeah, this isn't like a sly advertising segment. Like,
no,
we straight up do not.
Yeah.
I wish YouCook would sponsor us. I'm just curious about
it. What a surprise. The CEO of YouCook just walked in. Oh
my God. Oh, hey. Wow. How you doing? Yeah, I would love something like that. That sounds like a cool service. But I do recall looking at it and I was like, woof, it's quite expensive. Yeah.
But the food is delicious, let me tell you.
And you got like vegetarian options as well.
Well, the vegetarian options are actually obviously, but the more affordable one. And even then, it's still kind of expensive to do it. If you do the meat options, my goodness, that's like...
I can imagine, yeah.
It's a lot of moolah. We prefer doing, I'm sure I've spoken about this before, but there's a place that does like pre-cooked, pre-made meals called By Word of Mouth. And they, again, like their meat stuff is expensive, but their vegetarian selection, like specifically the soups and like, they've got like a bean curry, they've got mac and cheese. It's really good. Just pop it
What
in the
about
oven
putting beans in your mac and cheese?
No,
I'd be
why?
down for that.
Beans?
No.
Baked beans?
Yeah.
Or butter beans or what?
I'm pretty sure you could put... Okay, baked beans would be a bit of a weird one because then you got that tomatoey sauce.
No, I meant butter beans. Sorry, not baked beans.
But butter beans and macaroni and cheese? Hell yeah. I'd fucking do that.
Not green beans though, please. Don't be like my mom who makes a mean macaroni cheese and then ruins it with like healthy vegetables.
No. A macaroni and cheese is unhealthy by nature. It is cream and cheese and then obviously pasta. So very unhealthy. But you put in some butter beans in there. Butter beans are
delicious.
Great, man. Love those.
Yeah, they are.
Did I ever tell you I had a toasted macaroni and cheese sandwich in America?
Oh, that sounds amazing.
So I got recommended a couple of places in San Francisco to go and eat, and one of the places was a place actually just across from the offices of GameSpot, and they do like toasted sandwiches, and The one sandwich was literally just macaroni and cheese in a toasted sandwich, and it was pretty fucking good. It was like thick. It was like this, and it was like they'd taken the macaroni and cheese and made it into like a slice that conformed to the shape of the bread, and then just toasted the bread with lots of butter. And then for some reason, it was served with strawberries. Not sure why, but
see now,
yeah,
the toasted mac and cheese sounds like an abomination on paper, but it actually doesn't. It sounds good.
I mean,
I would eat that.
add bread to anything. Like, tell me bread doesn't make everything better.
Yeah,
exactly. Bread and butter on something that's already rich and buttery and like cheesy. It's like a toasted cheese, but you just tossed in some pasta there.
Ice cream and bread. Name a better combination. I'll wait.
I mean, how do you think they make ice cream sandwiches?
This is true.
Touche.
Checkmate.
What do you think a wafer is if not sweet bread?
I didn't think about that. Just trying to be all smart here, and I just you played the Uno reverse card on me. Damn it.
Listen, I eat well. I will never have a 6-pack because I love bread too much. Like every week now.
Bread is life.
Moving in with Shani, I've just discovered challah, which is like a very normal staple Jewish like bread.
Yeah,
it really is just white bread, and it's very sweet. It's delicious, but there's a bakery, a kosher bakery down the road from us that obviously every Friday because of Sabbath, they bake challah, fresh challah, so we always get it every Friday afternoon.
Oh my, that sounds good.
Just with butter. My God.
Is it heaven?
Oh yeah. It's like the thing I look forward to most every week. It's so good. And all it is just bread and butter. Like and then you toast that shit. Oof.
But the Portuguese version of that is like fresh bulldakaku with butter. It's just it's all you need. Like when that Madeira trip, Lenska and I did 2017. When did we get engaged? I don't know. But we'd spend like most of the day.
Hope Lenska's not around there. You know,
I mean, all the only dates I have to remember now is like the wedding day. That's fine.
When was that, huh?
It's 23rd of March.
What year, Matthew?
2019. God, I hope that's right. Is it 23 or 24 March? Damn it. I'm not wearing my ring.
I don't know the date.
This is why I put the dates on my ring so I could never forget.
I only know the year. I don't know the date.
And my brother and sister-in-law's wedding anniversary is the day before, so I could be getting them mixed up. I think it's a 24th.
So did they celebrate the anniversary like the day before your wedding?
Yeah, of course.
That's really cool. Your brother and you in tune. You like we'll always remember each other.
Hey, we actually are. Like I think we moved out more or less at the same age. We got married at more or less the same age. We got married on more or less the same day.
See, if he ever calls you up, he's like, Matthew, I've forgotten my anniversary. He's like, I got you, fam.
I think I've said this before, but it's quite fortunate. My brother's 7 years older than me, so he's like laying the groundwork.
7 years older than you. Holy shit,
so I just follow his footsteps. I'm like, okay, he did this at about this age. Listen, the one thing I'm striking off comrades, not happening.
You say like, this. I still reckon there will be a day where you do it.
No way.
I reckon before you die, you'll do it.
No, that's one thing I can't wrap my head around.
Nah, you're gonna get up one day and you're gonna be like,
oh God,
fuck it, I'm going to push myself to do this. I fully believe you'll do it. Yeah.
But we diverted from the story. So what I was saying is that one fine day in Madeira, Lenska and I had been on a bus going around doing things. And then came lunchtime, we were starving. We climbed off at a bus stop and we were walking through Funchal. And at that time of the year, and I think just in general, they often have like these little kiosks. Like, you know, if you were in New York, for example, there'd be a hot dog stand. Except in Madeira, they have bulldakaku stands where...
I did not see that. Oh.
No, thinking about it now, I don't actually recall seeing that around the wedding either.
Yeah.
But you can order yourself like a toasted bulldakaku and they'll put butter and cheese. And let me tell you, that meal sticks with me because we were so hungry. That bulldakaku was so fresh, had just been toasted. Butter and cheese. Oh, it was just...
It must have been so good. I mean, when you go to Europe, sandwiches is I mean, that's all you really eat. You just get... I mean, I remember going to Portugal 2007. And like my parents for most meals they'd buy bread at the shop and get some cheese, and at the time they weren't vegetarian, but they'd get presunto, which is like Parma ham, Portuguese Parma ham, cheese, presunto, and bread. Oh, tell you, living the fucking high life.
It's good. Now I'm hungry. Feed me.
Yeah, me too. I'm pretty angry. I also the one thing I didn't see in Madeira, which I saw a lot in mainland Portugal, was carts on the side of the road to buy snacks. But they're selling chestnuts. In Portugal mainland, that was everywhere.
That's more Portugal thing, it seems. Yeah, we've had that as well.
It's a delicious smell. Like you're walking through the streets and you just get roasted chestnut smell. It was roasted chestnuts and frituras, which is essentially a churro. But fritura just means fried, doesn't it? It's like fried dough.
I have no idea. It's literally like, fried.
It's like
dough.
A churro, yeah. And then the plain ones are good, but I remember my cousin got one that they had like a big chocolate injection. And they just shoved it into the middle and just so like the entire middle of this thing was just like chocolate goo.
Oh my God.
It was a nightmare to eat, but it was delicious.
It sounds divine. Holy
Portugal,
shit.
good food, really good
food. Just good in general.
Yeah, food is. I mean, we both had pizza last night, so
it was a good time. Yeah,
it's a good time. Shani and I are going out for lunch today because we haven't been out in a long time. So hopefully, gonna get some good steaks.
Nice.
Very excited for food.
Yeah, but so that's one thing I miss is just eating out at interesting places.
Although you and Enska still get good takeaways from a lot of interesting places.
We do, yeah.
So.
I must say, when we were in Cape Town, we ended up, I mean, we ate out a lot, but we really gauged, it wasn't a thing of like we planned to go somewhere. It was more a thing of we walking like, oh, this restaurant's actually empty. It's like an off-peak time. Like, let's sit outside. And we had some good food. But let me tell you, that was also like, we hadn't eaten out for a long time. And we're like, eating out in Cape Town, holy shit.
Expensive.
Yeah. But we were like, treat yourself. It's been
exactly
more than a year.
Exactly. You gotta work hard and play hard. So if you're on leave, you just gotta, you suck it up. You don't look at the bills. I mean, you do it within reason. I'm not going to like 5-star restaurants and ordering like 5 lobsters or something stupid.
Damn.
But yeah, no, you got to do that. You got to do that.
Yeah.
You know what else you got to do? Play video games.
Play games.
Shit.
Wow. Shit. The segues get better every week.
I think last week I didn't segue. We just started talking about Deathloop. I don't think we said this checkpoint chat. We talk about video games. So your camera is super not liking you today.
Yeah, and I don't know if you noticed earlier, your camera froze for like a good 10 seconds and your face was glorious. I just didn't have the heart to break it to you. Yeah, it was like
fuck's sake.
So video watchers /
just being betrayed by technology today. Yeah. Absolutely betrayed by technology.
Yeah, but speaking of technology.
Jesus, speaking of tech that's coming out, God, there's so many games.
Yep.
It's a proper fucking avalanche of new releases right now.
We are neck deep in stuff.
Neck deep in new games.
You've gone back to the past with a little modern remaster.
Yeah. I mean, I played Castlevania Symphony of the Night this year, so I guess my theme for this year is playing old classics.
Old classicos.
So the next one on that list is Castlevania. Diablo. I was like, my brain for like a good 5 seconds was like,
did you play Castlevania this week as well?
No, my brain just blue screened on me completely. Amazing. There. Diablo 2 Resurrected, not remastered, Resurrected. That's what it's called.
Hilarious.
So we have had lately, over the past couple of years, a lot of games that are, remakes of classics. You have your Resident Evil 2 and 3. You're getting Knights of the Old Republic now, and they are very careful with saying this is a remake versus a remaster. I mean, Resident Evil 2 and 3 straight up change how that game works very fundamentally. And Knights of the Old Republic, the way I've heard media of that game speak about it, it sounds like it's going to be a bit of a, it's still an RPG, so it's not like changing the genre of game, but they are fundamentally changing how like combat works and stuff like that. Diablo 2 Resurrected, to me, it looks like that visually, but is not that in practice at all. So this to me is a sort of middle of the road between a remaster and a remake, because I don't think it's fair to say visually it's a remaster, because it is a remake in terms of visuals. It is sort of like your Halo Master Chief Collection, where you have Halo 1 and 2 Anniversary, which are the same game, but they've had their controls tweaked a little bit, and the visuals are completely new. It's like a completely new game. But it's still the same game, it's not like, oh, they made Halo play like Halo 5. Like you still can't sprint in Halo 1, you still can't do a bunch of things you can do in later games. So Diablo 2 is a lot like that. For I don't know, for better or worse, like I think I come from I don't think a unique perspective, because I think this is going to be true of a lot of Diablo 2 players, funny enough, but I've never played Diablo 2. It came out at a time where I did not have a PC to play games.
And I think you're not, sorry to interrupt, but I don't think you're alone in that. It's like Diablo 2 is old for starters, and
like, I mean, when did it originally come out?
I think it's early 2000s, maybe?
I would say
this is where I show my age. I remember playing Diablo 2.
2000.
On a computer at school. That's how old it is. I mean, we know how old I am. Like, that's years ago.
I mean, so I was 8 years old when Diablo 2 came out.
You didn't have a kick-ass PC at the time. Yes.
I mean, I don't even think I played games on PC, period, at that time.
Hold up. You were 8 years old.
Mm-hmm.
In 2000. Yeah, that makes sense.
I was born in 92, yeah.
In my head, I was like, how old was I? Like, I was in matric, but I was like, no, I played Diablo 2 years later.
There's no fucking way you were in matric in the year 2000. What are you, 40 years old? Good Lord. My God. So I mean, I never played it. I recall later on in like gaming life, I mean, I used to have friends who would play Diablo, and I only knew they were playing Diablo because I used to see the red and blue orbs and be like, that's a cool UI, you know what I mean? Like, what is this? I mean, the same goes for Dota. I remember seeing friends playing Dota. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like,
HP
so
and
I knew,
MP. Ugh, what is that?
like I knew about it. Like, it's hard not to be, especially like be in gaming and not through osmosis know of games like Diablo. So I was excited to finally like play this, because this is, for all intents and purposes, like a genre defining game. This is, Diablo 1 came out, but Diablo 2 was like the ARPG that put the series on the map. But obviously I'd only played Diablo 3, which is a very different game. And I can see why now, like, it was so divisive at the time, because Blizzard made some very big changes between the two entries. So I think Diablo 2, if you're unfamiliar, is way more of an RPG in my view. You are looking a lot more at stats. You are having to make far more long-lasting decisions with how you distribute your points in your stats. Although I do feel it's a bit limited, because I'm just putting tons of points into vitality, because like that's all I need to do. Like, I just need to stay alive. But I think where the decisions really come to fruition is the skills. You have pretty varied skill trees and very limited points. So if you are not min-maxing a build, you are not going to. You're going to get to a point where your character is pretty much useless. Whereas in Diablo 3, obviously, if you've played that, you know that you can change out skills like whenever you kind of want. So you can essentially respec on the fly. And you are encouraged to do that, because you unlock powers in sort of like tiers. Oh, what was that?
No, I've stolen footage from IGN. Because
okay. I was just like, transition.
Even I was like, whoa.
So yeah, in that sense, it's already very different. It feels a lot more, for the lack of a better word, like hardcore. A lot less forgiving and welcoming from the get go. And yeah, just in general, like this remaster has no real like accessibility options in a way. There's no quest markers. There's very little introduction to how the game actually works. You're just given like controls and just expected to kind of go. You know, it's kind of nice as well though, because the quests tell you where, you know, your next objective is. So you kind of got to suss it out and find it. It's not just like following a quest marker on a HUD, which is kind of nice. And it looks great. I think it looks really, really good. I do find the dedication to making the animation still look like stilted. I think it looks pretty strange. I mean, when you change back to the classic visuals, because you can do that, you just press like G on the keyboard and it goes back to the classic visuals. It's kind of cool that it, from an animation and speed perspective, it's the same. And I wonder if that's because it was built on top of like the existing Diablo 2 code that they kept it like that. But yeah, from a visual standpoint, it is like night and day. It is really good. And you still got like some of the staples, like you see there, the map overlaid, you know, on the
actual
on
game?
the screen there. Yeah, on the actual game. But yeah, there's a lot of aspects of it that make it feel very old. Like for instance, if you've got an eagle eye, you can see there's a stamina bar, which I had no idea about. So your attacks don't take stamina, but you can toggle between walking and sprinting, and that drains your stamina. And for a long time, I was like, this is stupid because I just want to be running all the time. And now I realize it's more of, okay, I need to balance like my stamina meter so that if I need to get out of a battle quickly, I can run away.
You can run, yeah.
Yeah, because there's no dodge rolls or anything like that, yeah. It is a tad annoying, though, when I'm forced to walk, but the walk speed is still relatively fast.
It's relatively quick, yeah.
Yeah. I also didn't know that when you die, you drop all of your equipment, Dark Souls style. So, I mean, it's not as punishing as a Souls where if you die again, that stuff disappears.
Yeah.
But if you haven't kept anything in your stash, trying to get back to your dead body with no weapons is a real fucking chore, let me tell you that. So yeah, that's an interesting change.
And then enemies also respawn? Sorry, if you die, do enemies respawn?
No.
Okay, so at least you can...
I think it depends. I think if you're in a dungeon, they will. But I've only died in like these open areas, like you see in the footage now, and the enemies didn't respawn.
Okay.
The one thing that I think Diablo 3 definitely improved for the better was just they took away the frustrations of healing. You know, Diablo 3 had a potion on refresh. You didn't have to pick up potions. Although you could. Like you had your... Wait. Did you have consumable potions?
I think you had consumable potions, but it was like...
You always had a refresh one as well.
They just streamlined the whole process.
So here, obviously, you have a belt which you can put mana and health potions on. But boy, I just have so many, and they are always just taking up so much space in my inventory, and I'm constantly like having to go back to camp to put some in my stash or whatever, because I have no idea how plentiful they are later in the game.
Yeah.
I find that incredibly annoying. At the same time, I find like scrolls, like your town scroll and your scroll of identification to identify any magical or rare items. I only found later yesterday that you can buy a tome that lets you like stack them, so you can stack like 20. So I was carrying them in singles, and I was just like, this is fucking ridiculous. Like, and also then I just had so few of them all the time.
Shit.
So yeah, it just felt like that apparently gets a bit better when you meet good old Deckard Cain later on in the game.
Cain.
So like, I don't think that's a lasting problem, but it's just the cumbersomeness of inventory management definitely feels of its time. And definitely not a 2021 sort of game. And I think if you're coming from, especially Diablo 3, you're going to be like, wow, this is a real step backwards, because it really is. It's a whole different age of games where things were, for lack of a better word, real janky as fuck when it came to that sort of stuff. And, this remaster doesn't really tweak that. It's being faithful and authentic to the original. So there's a weird thing that happens that I don't know why they chose to do it, or I don't know if it's an original thing, but when you open a window like the inventory or your quest log or whatever, so say the quest log comes out from the left of the screen, it shifts the whole screen to the left. So like if my character was in the center of the screen and I open up the quest log, it doesn't just overlay on top of it. It just moves where my character is on the screen. I'm like, that's bizarre. Like, it just looks weird. So every time I open and close my inventory to check something, it's like the world shifts.
Just moves. That's weird.
Yeah, it looks super strange, and I don't like it. But yeah, it
makes me queasy.
I'm having a good time with it. Like, it is definitely, an ARPG in that sense. And I think there's been so many games since then that have done so much better at making that feel like fun and engaging, that I'm fighting a lot of the same enemies. The enemy variety so far at the beginning has been pretty lackluster. But I can see why this was such a pivotal game at the time. I just don't know if
it holds up today.
Well, yeah, I think it's very propped up by nostalgia. And if you lack that sort of nostalgia, like, I'm not sure how much you're going to get out of this. I mean, I think it's a curiosity. Like, you need to play, there are games that you need to have played, just to know like where gaming found its roots. Like earlier this year, I played Symphony of the Night, and it's like, that game holds up. It's weird as fuck in many regards, but like I can see why it's so well regarded. And that's the same for Diablo. But I don't know. Like, I read an article yesterday saying you should just go play Diablo 3 instead. And I kind of agree in many ways. Like, if you want an ARPG fix, Diablo 3 is a better game right now.
It's definitely a nostalgia thing. So like, I'm a target market because I did play Diablo 2 a fair bit when it, in its heyday. And the thought of having it on Switch, issues aside, still is kind of appealing. Like, just for nostalgia's sake, like, oh man, I used to play this class. Let me see, I remember this fight or this part of the map, whatever. And like,
boy, I would love to see this inventory and UI on Switch, to be honest.
I mean, I have to believe that they've done something for consoles, because you're playing on PC, right?
Yeah, I'm playing on PC, but because I know a couple of people playing on PS5, and they say the performance on PS5 is bad.
Really? Because I know Diablo 3 was like hailed as a thing of like, it'll never work on console, but they made it work on console.
Oh, and it feels designed for console. Like,
exactly.
I think that's why they made so many of those changes.
Yeah, so I wonder, I mean, I don't know to what extent they've adapted Diablo 2. But
I mean, just the skills. I'm not entirely sure they're going to do the skills on console. I'd love to know how they've actually got around it, because even on PC, it feels weird. It's like you've got your left hand and right hand attacks, and then I can assign skills to my like hotkeys, which are all on the function keys. But then when I hit one of the function keys, it automatically starts that skill and assigns it to my right hand. I'm like, what? Like, it's weird. It definitely feels old. Like, we have come a long way in control schemes, that this just feels off. You know what I mean? Especially, Diablo 3, like, you had 4 skills that you could fire off at any time, and they were always bound to those keys. And you can do that here with hotkeys, but it just feels like I can never see that shit at a glance. Like, it's always hidden behind the UI, and I can only see what I have equipped at this given time. So.
Well, it makes me wonder what the plan is for Diablo 4, just in terms of. So I'm diverting it to just overall gameplay, because you mentioned earlier Diablo 3 is very streamlined in that you get every skill as you level up, and you can mix and match as you please. Whereas Diablo 2 very much was like you choose your points, you choose what you're going to level up in terms of skills, and I do wonder, like. I know I was very confused when I played Diablo 3. I was like, I don't get to choose my skills,
Mm.
which at the time was very frustrating. But looking back now, I'm like, that is actually kind of nice to, have the ability to just try different builds without having to restart my whole character or anything.
Yeah.
But I know like there will be veteran players who are like, no, like you'll find people that go Diablo 2 is better than Diablo 3. It's like this is
of course.
the purest Diablo. It's the way it's meant to be played. But now with Diablo 4, do they kind of mix the two? Do they just stick with Diablo 3? Like, I don't know. I'd be interested to see what the plan is there. Because even Diablo 3, like to speak shit, that was, criticized for being too colorful. They're too colorful and too light compared to Diablo 2. And Diablo 4, for all intents and purposes, looks very much like Diablo 2 in terms of tone. It's like very dark, very hectic. So, like, I don't know.
I can actually understand that comparison now because I remember reading that and I was like, I don't know, it looks like a dungeon crawler to me. But this is very much muted colors, not a lot of brights, very very medieval and dreary and Diablo 4 looks like like you said, a lot of that. But from a gameplay perspective, I would be shocked if they like did a really hard turn and went back. I definitely think they want to make it a bit more
flexible.
Like more like an RPG because Diablo 3 definitely lacked the role playing in there. It was more just about the action. So I think a melding of the two could be really cool. I'm actually very curious to see Diablo 4 and the lessons it learns from both of them now. But I mean, I'm still playing Diablo 2. I'm still enjoying it. And I can see why it's an important game to gaming.
Yeah.
I don't think it's gonna have the same like very strong positive reaction from people like me who've only played Diablo 3. And that goes the same for a lot of games of this ilk. Like if someone who's never played Halo plays the first Halo now, there's some old ass design choices in there that don't make sense or they just feel bad. And like I can play it now, having played Halo 1 and appreciate them, but know how far we've come. And that's how I feel about Diablo 2. So it's still a good game, but I don't think it is as good of a game in 2021. You know what I mean?
Which is fair. So, I mean, the game's like
that's what it is. Yeah,
now.
It's over 2 decades old. Like, and the fact that it's over 2 decades old and I'm still getting some like fun out of it is impressive. Only classics are able to do that. So, because I know people are going to be real salty that people don't, and I can see it happening. The critical reception to Diablo 2 is going to be, it's going to be mixed, I think, because there's going to be a lot of people who are like, this is just not the game that it was 20 years ago, and that's fine. It does not take your enjoyment away from it.
Or it is the game it was 20 years ago, which just doesn't work today.
Yeah, it is the game, and that's part of the problem. Yeah. So. But anyway, that's Diablo 2.
Old Diablo.
What have you been playing this week?
So I finally got to dive into a little something we've both been looking forward to. Good Lord, one of the prettiest games in a long time. So I'm just trying to pull up the footage here. Kenna, Bridge of Spirits. So this is a game, this still blows my mind. So this is a game made by a studio called Ember Labs, which, as far as I know, this is the first game they've ever made. They're an animation studio who've done some great animation work. I think you told me they probably best known for a Majora's Mask fan film.
Short film, they did a short film. It's like a 10-minute film, and it's gorgeous as well.
Yeah, and they've just, I don't know, obviously big gamers in that studio and decided we're just going to pivot and put together a game, which still blows my mind because I was saying to one of my colleagues at the office, I wasn't at the office, I was just saying to him that it's, can you imagine, like, I work on a team of creatives, like I'm a writer on a team with designers and other writers, and my boss walks in one day and says, well, we're not going to make a social post or websites, we're going to make a game.
We're going to write a book.
Just to wrap my head around it, I'm like, where do you even start?
Yeah.
And that kind of feels like easy. This studio did that. They're like, well, we just want to make a game. So the benefit, I guess, is that they are an animation studio, and as a result, the game is like, it's gorgeous. Like any review or preview you've read compares it to like a Pixar film, and that is spot on. It feels like you're running through an actual Pixar world, and that also has to do with the style, I guess. Like, the characters do look very cartoony in a sense, but very, still animated. But yeah, the story. I mean, I've only played about an hour, so I'm still early days.
Is this your footage?
This is my footage now. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, the Diablo. I just didn't have anything. I was like, I'm going to put something on. But Joseph,
this looks cool.
I've literally
just visually just really good.
So this is like literally the opening of the game. You start out in a cave, and you know that you are just here to, seek answers, and you're trying to make your way to some place, which name eludes me now. But in doing so,
animations are fantastic.
Yeah, the animations are great. Sorry, audio listeners, but just imagining you playing a Pixar movie. That's all you need to know.
Really, really good. Really striking. Yeah. So what's the sort of like gameplay? Because that's always been confusing to me. Like, what do you actually do in this game?
So it's very much just a 3D action game, if I could call it that, along the lines of, I mean, the comparisons I've seen are God of War, Horizon Zero Dawn.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And yeah, it's an over the shoulder, the third person, I suppose, exploration / action game where you navigate, do a bit of platforming and a bit of combat, as you make your way through this world. But interestingly enough, you won't see it. I'll probably just scrub through the footage to get there, but there's definitely a Pikmin appreciation here, because you collect these little creatures called rots. I'm actually just going to skip ahead quickly just so you can see what I'm talking about. You collect these adorable little creatures called rots, and if you've played Pikmin, you know that in Pikmin you play as a character called Olimar, who uses Pikmin to, do a variety of things around the world. So, for example, in this game, you can use these little creatures called rots to, pick up an object and move it for you, or to attack enemies. So yeah, it's interesting because it's a combination of that and just, a God of War and Horizon Zero Dawn.
So like a third-person action game, but with this Pikmin. I see. Yeah.
So I've got them to pick it up,
for you.
and then I'm busy pointing it.
So you actually command them. Okay.
Yeah.
Got you.
So like that is 100% like Pikmin.
Okay.
So you see, it's so cute.
It actually, I guess this comes from me not knowing or not having played Pikmin.
Yeah, if you've ever played Pikmin,
it reminds me of Overlord. There was a game. We played as a bad guy, and you have different colored minions that you control. So that's cool.
Yeah. So I mean, I've only played about an hour, just over an hour.
They are really cute.
They just stare at you when you stand.
What are they? They're like little black blobs with like just green
little
hair.
Yeah, they're just little. Oh well, you get collectibles throughout the game, so you can get hats for them, so you can customize.
Oh my god, amazing!
It's just the best. My only criticism of the game thus far is that it looks gorgeous, but the movement feels a little bit. Like I can't quite put my finger on it. Like it's not sluggish, but there's something a bit off about it.
Okay.
Which, like, in Ember Labs' defense, it's their first game. Like some studios take many games to like nail down, a feel or a signature thing.
Yeah. But people underestimate how long it takes to make the basics feel good.
Like there's a reason, for example, that Mario is known as like a great platformer because they've spent decades perfecting, the movement, and they put such an emphasis. Celeste is one of the best platformers because it feels good to platform and move around. And like, not that there's anything wrong with Kenna, but there's definitely something like, I don't know, janky or a little bit off about the movement. But I mean, that's really,
and that's something you can feel. It's difficult to convey without like actually playing.
When you play it, you'll know exactly what I mean. There's just something a little bit off about it, but that doesn't take away from the game. It's still like it feels fun to play. The combat, you've got a light attack, a heavy attack. You've got a dodge. You've got a parry. You've got a shield. Like, and I'm obviously still going to unlock a bunch of things. I know I'll get a bow at a later stage. And yeah, it's just fun to play. So very excited to play
I've
more
read
of it.
that it's more challenging than expected. Have you found
No,
that?
not yet. So I'm playing on the hardest difficulty, and I haven't died yet. But if I do get hit, like I think if I get hit 3 or 4 times, I'll die, like without a doubt. But I haven't fought any, huge bosses yet or anything. I mean, if you're watching the footage, this is sort of like a, like a mini boss. Well, I suppose at this stage it's a boss, but you fight a few of these soon after. And yeah, it's if I get hit a few times, I'll die. Like you see, I get hit there, that's a third of my
Oh
health
yeah,
bar.
well, it's like almost half your health. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I can see the comparisons to, God of War. And even Sekiro, I think you said to me that whoever reviewed it for GameSpot made that comparison. And I think it is, I mean, again, I keep saying this early days, but I think as I play, there will be systems in place that, either reward aggression or, make me need to parry. So I nearly died here.
Yeah, I was about to say, it looks like you're about to die.
Yeah.
So,
but don't worry, I made a good comeback.
Then you're just like, cool. I'm just gonna hone my Dark Souls skills here.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna play patiently. Yeah, you'll see me use my little rod here quickly. Check how they attack it.
Boop. Oh, that's so cool.
So
wow, they're pretty powerful as well.
But there's a system in place of like when you encounter enemies, they I suppose, for lack of a better term, scared. But you attacking builds up courage, which lets them then unleash some attacks on enemies as well. So that's what happened. There's a built up enough courage to unleash an attack from them.
Okay.
Yeah.
And these cutscenes, which are obviously not in game, but wow,
it's. I mean, this
the
you can see the
staggering
the benefits of being an actual animation studio. Like the cutscenes are like gorgeous, and they're
it's a
so
bit
well
creepy
animated.
that the rots have like human teeth though. It's a real Sonic the Hedgehog issue here. It's strange.
Yeah,
it looks cool. And I've read that it's one of those real compact. You can kind of like 100% it in 10 hours, which sounds
that's perfect
to me. That sounds fantastic to me.
And if anything, like I think the studio is going to learn a lot from this game, and I'd love to see what their next outing is. Like, do they go, shit, that was too much hard work, we're pivoting back to just being an animation studio, or they're going to go, yeah, that was a good experience, we're going to make a sequel or a whole separate IP now. Like, I don't know where the game leaves off, if there's room for a sequel or whatever, but yeah. I'm
just glad like a debut game is really hard for studios, so that this kind of like hit.
I was just gonna say it's like take my hats off to them, because this isn't like, to go back to my comparison. It feels like my boss walking in saying like, we're gonna make a game now, and you go, shit, where do you even begin? Like we're not a game studio, and they've nailed it. I mean,
not easy at all.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. I'm glad, and there was so much. I was pretty scared for this game before launch, because like we had seen very little and codes weren't going out, but it just seemed like it was actually just a new studio trying to wrap their head around that entire process as well. So
yeah, I think a lot of it comes down to they've just never launched a game before. So yeah.
That's cool. So it's out on PS4, PS5, and PC, if I'm not mistaken.
Will it ever come to Xbox? I wonder.
No idea. I don't know if Sony handled publishing on PC as well.
I don't know if you said PS4, but it is on last gen PS4 as well.
Yeah, it is on PS4.
So yeah.
Is it? I mean, you playing on PS5? Is it like a 60 frames gig?
Yeah,
or?
right. Yeah, there is a performance and
hell yeah,
whatchamacallit mode. So you can do 30 FPS 4K or
probably dynamic
60
4K
FPS.
and 60. Yeah, sick. That sounds great.
Yeah.
Because I think the that art style lends itself to like fluidity. So
yeah. You definitely. I mean, it's like you when you played Sekiro on PS4 and then you jumped to it on PS5 and you're like, this game feels
night and day difference.
Easier now, because the animations and everything are a lot smoother.
Straight up felt so much easier to parry when it was at 60, like so much easier. So yeah. Actually, almost feels like it broke that game, because like okay, no, I'm not gonna get into Sekiro talk now. You've been playing as well. I forgot now.
Tales of Arise. I've just
Tales of Arise, JRPG-ness.
my footage did not record. That is upsetting.
Corruption in this nation. Oh,
I've been having issues with my Elgato where it reaches a point where it like skips an animation or something, and then my footage is just the video is just frozen. I'm like,
that
why?
sucks. That's
It's really
garbage.
frustrating. That's annoying. I thought I'd check that, but anyways. So I've been playing some Tales of Arise, which is a JRPG from the franchise is just called Tales of. I think it's always a Tales of something, you know. But this is my first
Knuckles
time.
and Tails of Arise. Sonic and Tails
the
of Arise.
crossover we didn't know we needed. So this is my first time playing a Tales game. So my expectations are non-existent because I have no frame of reference. But this game caught my attention in 2019. I think when it was first revealed at an Xbox showcase. I don't know. There's just something about the trailer. I thought, damn, that is a great trailer. I've never even looked at this franchise.
It was beautiful. That's mostly what I remember. Yeah.
Like, I just hope this game is good whenever it is. And it was actually supposed to come out in 2020. It was pushed out.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, God, you frozen now. What is it with the frozen footage today? There you go. And yeah, so I waited for it. And I think we told the story last week, but we had a laugh because you thought you were going to have to like entice me to play this JRPG, and you dressed it up saying like, hey, we've got a review code for this game, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, it's a Tales of Arise. And you're like, yeah. And I was very excited. And you thought I was pulling your leg.
Been keen for that. I'm like,
you're like,
serious?
Are you joking? No, because I was legitimately keen. So I've played about 6 hours, I'd say, over the last week.
So you finished the tutorial?
Yeah, I was just going to say, so it's interesting how I can play an hour of Kenna and have like a feel for the game. And I've played like 6 hours of Tales and it's still early days. It feels like I'm still learning. I've got things to do. But yeah, the game takes place in a world that has been divided by war. So the premise is, forgive me if I get the names wrong, but you play as there's two races. There's a Dana and the Rena. Oh God, there's a Lupin behind me.
Yeah, he just appeared. He looked into the camera there even.
So Dana are like a medieval race, very much olden day humans, I guess. And the Rena are from an advanced world, and they basically invade Dana. And 300 years pass where the one is enslaved by the other. And there's just been the cycle of, the Dana are just slaves to this race, and 300 years have passed, but now one person's finally like, enough of this. But in a typical game fashion, your one main character has no recollection of who they are. They're just
okay. Yeah.
They're like, oh, like, I don't know, I just woke up one day and here I am and blah, blah, blah. It's a typical trope of, you the player don't know what's going on either, but the character's
let's discover this together. Yeah.
I don't know who I am, but there's this, I'm a slave and I'm tired of being a slave and I'm going to break out. And yeah, so that's the premise of the game. And obviously there's a lot more under the surface of your character. He's got some sort of power, something within him because, he helps.
It's got to be the hero, man.
Yeah, he sort of takes up a weapon and he fights back, and he ends up meeting a person from the opposing, the faction, if I can call it that, Arena, who her motive is she also wants to take down these people, but again, that's not clear. So like why she wants to take them down, but that's just the the table setting for this game. I'm obviously still again early days. But yeah, it's an action JRPG. So it's interesting because most of my experience with JRPGs has always been turn-based for the most part. But in the last 2 years, I've played Xenoblade, I've played Final Fantasy VII Remake. So I've played a lot more, of these involved action variants of JRPGs. And from my opening hours of Tales, it feels really good. Like I'm enjoying the combat a lot. It's the same sort of trope of you roam, through environments, and there are creatures populating you, but you can avoid them, or you can run into them, and then an encounter triggers and you actually fight them. And then it's very standard fare in that you've got a basic attack, you can dodge, but you have access to a whole lot of different things. So you have I suppose I could call them abilities, which you can activate at any time. And what's quite cool, so I'm sure as I play the game, I'm going to build out my party. But at the moment, I've only got 2 characters. The one fights with the sword, the one has a gun. But like the sword character, for example, he's got a basic attack, right, which just does like a basic 3-hit combo. Okay. But I can string together a longer combo if I do that basic 3-hit combo, do an ability, which is for all intents and purposes like another fancy sword attack, and then go and string back to my basic combo. So you can build up a whole string of attacks. It's like basic ability, basic, second ability, basic, third ability. That makes sense. And you're incentivized to do that because if you spam the same ability, they'll lose their effectiveness. So you need to obviously put a lot of variation on your combos to, get the most damage out, in combat. And I've just found like I'm still learning, obviously, because they do throw a lot at you. I'm always amazed with RPGs how there's all these terms and acronyms. And I'm like, oh, there's just so much happening. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it thus far, and I'm looking forward to sinking my teeth into the next.
Do you so you said you have a party of 2, so do you switch between the characters?
You can switch between the characters. It's not as intuitive as Final Fantasy VII Remake, where it's like literally a button to switch to another. You like have to quickly pull open a menu and switch to someone else if you want to. But it's not a thing of like Final Fantasy where you sort of like you play as a character, use their ATB charges, switch to another character, use their ATB charges, and you're switching back and forth. This is more a thing of, every character is effective, just play as who you enjoy, have the most fun playing as. And like, switch to the others if, I suppose as I get, further along into the story, maybe it's a thing of I need to switch between them because they've got specific abilities that are beneficial. But at this stage, it feels like I can just play whoever I want, whose combat I enjoy the most. And it's been fun switching between the two. Like if you want to get up close and personal, you're going to play as I won't say his name for spoiler purposes, but he starts as an Iron Face or Iron Mask because he's got a mask on.
Iron Face.
Yep.
Love it. And underneath is Leonardo DiCaprio.
That's Leonardo DiCaprio. Who knew? The man in the Iron Mask. And and I've gone blank on the lead female names as well. But she's
Iron Face.
Oh, Shion. That's it. And she fights with a gun.
Okay.
Shiona?
Okay.
But the game
she fights with a gun. Oh, right, because you said there's like advanced race that's enslaved everyone else.
And she's from the advanced race, basically. Oh no, you froze it again. But I'm sure I'll talk about that more in future. But I am very much enjoying my time with it thus far, and it's got me hooked. Like I think the story is very JRPG at times, where, like I've said, my characters don't know who they are. They're on a quest of self-discovery and freeing the people and saving, the world. But there's
that hero's quest. It's a good familiar trope,
The game looks great, it feels good, and the dialogue is the story thus far is like it's intriguing. Like I am curious to see how it plays out. Where I left off, actually, I've just entered like the neighboring region. And I laugh because you basically arrive at this region. There's a whole mountain of dead corpses. Well, sorry, that's like an oxymoron. There's a whole mountain of corpses, and there's a dude standing there with a long sword. And I'm like, is this Sephiroth? Like, what's going on? He's gonna
look at you with that glint in his eye and just fly away.
And in typical Sephiroth fashion, he disappears. I'm like, they're like, who was that? I'm like,
it's all in your mind.
I mean, that's my only reference, but I was like, this is so Final Fantasy VII right now.
Oh my goodness. I haven't started the game yet, but I've obviously downloaded it, and on PS5, some games have like their own like music when you scroll over to the icon. The Tales of Arise music slaps pretty good. It's
real good, yeah. It's I think this franchise this particular game has a lot of eyeballs on it because from what I've heard, it's the one game that's received like the biggest budget of them all. It's received a lot of, stage time. It's had a lot of promotion around it. So
it's like its breakout moment.
I think this could be a breakout moment for this franchise. And it reviewed very well. Like if I recall, it's like on 88 on Metacritic, which is like didn't just review well, it reviewed like exceptionally well.
I mean, we're talking about a Tales game, and
yeah.
We are just two people, but neither of us have played them. And to be honest, before Tales of Arise, I would get so many. There's so many of these like weird RPG series out there, like Ys and Tales and what's the other one? Trials of Iron, Trials of something. I don't know. Trials of Steel. So it's like these long running RPG franchises that have so many entries, but they're like very niche still. So it's cool that Tales of Arise might be the one that gets more and more people in there. Yeah.
Yeah. So you'll definitely hear me talk about that more in future, and hopefully with footage it doesn't
shit
out
the
like
bed.
that. I don't know why my Elgato is doing that. It's frustrating.
Go put it in a corner. Make it think about what it's done.
Sit
or
down.
What it didn't do, I guess.
But yeah, shall we bounce to
gaming
out?
Releases? Gaming releases. I think the deluge has subsided for like 1 week. Can you believe that we are going to go into games for the 1st of October? Fuck my life. So we're looking at games from September 25th up until October 1st. My loud. Okay. Let's do this. New World, the
that's actually coming
colonial MMO from Amazon. September 28th. Protect your RTX 3090s. We've got In Sound Mind, PC, PS5, Xbox, September 28th. Ooh, this game looks fucking cool.
This game is mind-blowing. There's a trailer. If you're listening and you're looking for an FPS that's different. Like this, interesting enough, this is a time loop. Almost like it's not turn-based, but it's kind of turn-based FPS.
It's a 1v1 where...
2v2 as well. There's a 2v2
God,
mode,
can you? So basically every life you have is like a 20-second life where you choose a class and you like run them through these small maps. So you navigate them to an objective to take it, or you get them to throw a grenade in a certain direction, whatever. And then after that 20 seconds, you go back and you choose a new class and you play again. And the previous class that you played plays out that route that you
the run starts to overlap.
Yeah. So like if I see an enemy took an objective with one enemy, I can be like, okay, in this life, I'm going to kill them before they get to that objective. Or I will throw a grenade in that direction to stop them. And then you're kind of playing like chess like that. You're kind of seeing, okay, how am I going to prevent the enemy from doing this? How am I going to... It looks really complicated, but really cool.
I think what will make or break the game is how easy it is to get into, because I think there's definitely a lot going on, but I imagine if you figure the game out, it's going to be a lot of fun.
I think the onboarding is going to be hectic, but I think because it's a competitive game, the more you play online, the more you'll see like, wow, that guy wrecked me completely. This is how he did it. So I'm very keen to play that. It looks rad. So that's on PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series. I think it's on Game Pass.
I think if
I'm not mistaken.
I could be wrong, but I think it might be on Game Pass.
Yeah, I think so. That's September 28th. September 29th, we got Insurgency Sandstorm. I think this is like a Counter-Strike like, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so, yeah.
PS4 and Xbox One. That's strange. September 29th. This is a great name for a game. DAP coming to PC. Yeah, exactly. Adapt.
It's DAP.
September 29th. A Juggler's Tale coming to basically all platforms, September 29th as well. Rogue Lords coming to PC, September 30th. Industria, which I assume is some sort of like 4X strategy game, coming to PC, September 30th.
eFootball.
eFootball. So if you don't know what eFootball is, it is essentially PES. But Konami has now changed PES to eFootball, and it's free to play this year. So interesting. PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series, September 30th. Bonfire Peaks coming to PC, PlayStation, and Switch, September 30th. Aeon Drive, all platforms, September 30th. Astria Ascending. You see, I think that's one of those weird RPGs again.
Yeah.
All platforms September 30th. Hot Wheels Unleashed.
Damn.
All platforms September 30th. And then the final game, FIFA 2022, all platforms October 1st. I think it's actually already out. There's like an early access type.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think people are playing it already.
I do wonder how successful PES will be and if it will prompt EA to make FIFA free to play as well.
There's already rumors that FIFA 23 will be free to play. To me, that's the logical way for sports games, because every year they are new games with iterative changes, and I think it would even help development to have a single platform that just evolves over time instead of this is a new package game every fucking year.
I legitimately feel sorry for all the dev teams behind it, because it is like, cool, we've just shipped this game, start working on the next one, and like, okay, what is the standout feature?
And
we need to market this, like, what is the standout feature?
And you're reworking it. Like, I think the Fortnite model works for sports games so well, and I'm actually kind of surprised it took this long for someone to pull the trigger on that. And for all people, it was Konami. I really thought EA would have gotten onto this ages ago. So let's see. I think that's the logical progression, and I kind of think that I think both parties benefit from that, consumers and the studios in question. So I mean, EA can still start shoving down the Ultimate Team stuff all the time now. They don't need to be like, okay, well, we're bringing out a new FIFA, so all the Ultimate Team stuff on that other game is now dead, and now we've got to restart, basically drum up everything from the start again. Now you can just have a progressively
you just do it,
progressive whales who never stop giving you money, because that's what gaming is now.
That's what it is. Cool.
Gaming news.
What are we starting with? Let's start with the Nintendo Direct. Okay, let's just get that.
We have to. Okay. So
Nintendo had a Direct last night, where there are a lot of big announcements, I guess. But let's start with the
of big announcements of new other Directs that are coming later on.
True.
Listen, I'll straight up say this was a strange Direct. There was a lot here that did not even get a reaction out of me. But
we have to start with the headline over here that there's a Super Mario movie being made. Okay,
I'm frozen again.
Are you frozen? Oh my god! Why does this keep happening? What is the tech issues we're having today?
I just noticed.
So there's a Super Mario movie happening, but I mean, I think we knew that, right? But they came out and announced the cast.
I'm frozen again.
Mario, oh, for goodness sake, why does this keep happening?
So we knew an animated movie was coming from Illumination, the people do Despicable Me.
Yes.
So yes. And
but yeah,
good Miyamoto had the cast news there, and do you want to kick us off here?
Yeah, I'm just trying to find an article quickly that has him all lined up nicely, because this is just okay, never. I suppose the names are all here. So let's just run through this list. I was looking for I've got one. Allah, hang on, I've got a pretty thing here with the scrolling thing. So we kick off with Chris Pratt as Mario.
Jesus Christ!
Which in itself, I'm like, damn, this is some big Hollywood guns over here. It's not like they've got some B grade actor. They've got straight up Chris Pratt, but
why?
But why?
But why? Why him? I mean, I told this news to Shani, and the first reaction was, he's not Italian. I'm like, yes. I mean, Charles Martinet is not Italian either, but good Lord, now we have to just hope Chris Pratt can put on a bad accent or something.
It gets progressively more WTF, because in my head, I just think, okay, they put all the budget into Chris Pratt. The rest of the cast is just supporting, no disrespect to any other actor, but B grade, whatever. Except I was wrong, because then we've got Anna Taylor-Joy as Princess Peach, who I suppose the most recent example, if you've watched Queen's Gambit, it's that actress.
Yeah, she's from Queen's Gambit. She's going to be young Furiosa in the next Mad Max movie, or the Furiosa movie.
So I'm like, okay, cool.
She's a great actress, and she's young, and I can kind of get behind her like voicing a Princess Peach. Yeah, that was like, okay, cool. They're back on rails now.
But I thought the headline stopped there, but they just kept coming.
Jesus.
So we've got Charlie Day's Luigi. My good boy Luigi's getting a role in this movie.
I mean, Charlie Day is like, he's a front man. Like, he's fun. I don't understand him as Luigi. Like, that's the confusing
Luigi.
part. I just...
Oh, you're going to keep getting confused because next up you've got Jack Black as Bowser.
Jesus Christ.
Okay, you got.
It
Jack
was at
Black
this
as
point that I
Bowser.
was like, "This is a joke. This has to be a joke."
Even you and me, and the rest of the like, okay, surely this is the cast now. We done, but the names just keep coming. Oh wait,
they don't
have
the other one.
Okay, it's fine. Yeah, I've got a list here.
Oh my god, Keegan Michael Key as Toad. I howled laughing. I was just like, why? Why? Like, he's a great comedian and he's funny, but now he's Toad. So please, if he doesn't have that screechy nonsense voice, like,
he's gonna have to work on it. His agent dialed him up and said, "Listen, how good can you screech?"
Then you got Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong, and that broke me. I was like, this movie's full of shit. So then at the end they were like, "Yeah, Charles Martinet's in here, and he's gonna be in some cameo roles." It's like, just get him as fucking Mario. Just like everyone knows that voice. They know what it sounds like. Chris Pratt.
It makes me think though that, like, can you imagine this movie does like a Into the Spider-Verse thing where they pull together a whole lot of different Marios and Luigis and Peaches, and Charles Martinet is just the other Marios.
Fuck's sake. I
don't know. So
it was a real when they're like, "Oh, we don't have footage of the movie, but we've got the cast." I'm like, "Okay, cool. We're just gonna get, like you said, a pretty low, not a low budget, but like a pretty normal cast." Like,
I did not expect
what the fuck,
big
that
Hollywood muscle cast. Yeah,
that was wild. I mean, I can't imagine the calls up to all of those actors' agents just being like, "Keegan Michael Key, you're gonna be Toad." Also, we have no idea if Toad wears a hat or if the mushroom is his ears. Like.
You like Mario? Yeah. Do you want to play as Mario? What?
Yeah.
The money's good. Okay.
Yeah, sick. I'll do it.
Cool, man.
I've already seen some great memes. Like,
Timur put out. He said he went to the official Nintendo site and whoa, Nicolas Cage is playing Mario.
Fuck, that's so good.
I laughed.
Oh,
okay,
God.
But this is not all that was shown at the Direct. We had, I'm just going by GameSpot's order of.
We got Signs of Life from Bayonetta 3. It happened.
Yeah, so this is actually how they ended the show. But hilarious, because if you watch the trailer, if you've played Astral Chain, you'll recognize.
They did such a fake out that I had a tweet ready going, because I looked at it, I was like, this looks like Bayonetta. And then I saw this stupid fucking dog costume.
Lappy.
And I was like, are you fucking joking?
I was like, damn, we're getting an Astral Chain too. Like, I loved Astral Chain, but
I was so mad because I was like, if they announce Astral Chain 2 and they leave Bayonetta out in the dark, I was just gonna fucking lose it. But it was actually a pretty great fake out.
Yeah, then this Witch Time happened. I was like, ooh.
And then you're like, okay, this is Bayonetta. What I was pretty surprised by is that how it just transitioned into gameplay.
Yeah.
Because it looks pretty great, I think. So we've got Bayonetta here. She's got her plaits again, which is strange. Someone pointed out on Twitter that she's going for the look that she had when she was younger. So they're wondering if this is a younger Bayonetta, because also the voice actress is different.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I wonder if this is a time traveling shenanigans sort of game. But boy, it looks good.
If you never played Bayonetta and you've watched the trailer and you go, I don't get what the hype's about, just trust us when we say Bayonetta is a must play, because not only is the action good, but it's so over the top ridiculous. Like, I think when we reviewed it, or when we spoke about it however long ago, because I played it years after the fact, the stuff that happens, you think it can't get crazier, and it just does. It's always
so
does,
ridiculous,
but in the best way.
The opening for Bayonetta 2 is you doing Christmas shopping with the mob boss who's scared of you, and then a fighter jet like appears, and Bayonetta fights angels and demons on top of a fighter jet while it's flying through. So it is fucking batshit crazy.
Speaking of, I need to go back and finish Bayonetta 2 because I played Bayonetta 1, jumped straight into 2, and I was like, I need a break from this.
It's so good. I mean, it's not just its aesthetic either. It is like a fucking fantastic character action game. Like, I think it's one of the best out there. So, yeah. I'm just glad we got... It was announced in 2017, and we haven't seen anything since then. Like, I love
how the head of Nintendo just downplays it. He's like, we first announced it in 2017. Thank you for your patience. We're like,
like I think someone tweeted out, they're like, it's been 1,300 days since we last heard of Bayonetta 3, and it's
oh God.
So now it's coming in 2022. I'm kind of like a bit bummed by that. I thought this was going to be a surprise December release.
Yeah. I think overall
to see it alive is okay. Like,
I think the direct, like, overall, I think, look, some cool announcements, but overall the direct was somewhat disappointing because it kind of didn't fill the holiday period for the end of the year.
No,
it is like I was expecting also like a big, like, what's after Metroid?
Nothing,
like,
really.
Nothing. Like, are they going to shadow drop something? I don't know.
I assume they're going to just like run off the hype of like all the expansions they announced. Like they announced so many expansions for games, and some of them don't even make sense. Like, they're still supporting Hyrule Warriors,
Age of Calamity. Yeah,
I'm just like okay. Yeah. And then, on top of it, they announced two different directs. So there's going to be a direct for the Final Smash character next month and a direct for Animal Crossing next month.
Yeah.
I just don't understand why they didn't just put that stuff in here. Like, people came to this direct hoping, especially for Animal Crossing, and all they got was the announcement of another direct. It's just like, Nintendo.
Cool, but let's not spend too long on this direct because we've got a lot of news, but to fly through, but we can quickly nitpick. So Monster Hunter Rise, Sunbreak. Let me tell you, so I rolled credits on Breath of the Wild, and I thought, let me just do a hunt in Monster Hunter because it's been months. I've forgotten how to play that game.
Can you imagine? I can't even remember. Yeah.
Got all my buttons mixed up. I died and obviously I've grinded up to like end games. I died like instantly. I was like, oh God, I need to pick this game up. But I'm very excited for this. This is like a full-on expansion. It's not just like additional
they described
content.
it as a massive expansion.
It's a paid for. I guess it's in the same vein as Monster Hunter World Iceborne.
I think it was Iceborne, yeah.
Yeah, which is like it'll fundamentally change the game. It is like a whole thing. So I do wonder, I'm curious though, what happens, because isn't this game meant to come out on other platforms next year?
It is on PC already, I think, isn't it?
No, Monster Hunter Rise.
Or maybe it's coming to PC. I do know it's announced for PC. That's the one.
But I mean, do they do like a definitive edition? I don't know.
Yeah,
it's interesting.
And this is out soon. It's summer 2022. So that's like June, July next year. So not soon.
Oh wait, I got my season mixed up. Yeah, but I'm keen for that. Yeah, there were some surprises at this direct.
Yeah, this was cool. A card game by Yoko Taro. Strange. Cool. I don't know if I'm down for another card game, but the music alone was like, hell yeah, I'm in for this. And that's out end of October, so yeah.
And there's a demo available. Disco Elysium, the game I've heard so much about. I've never played it, but I can't believe this is on Switch.
I would love to know how the font works on a screen.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot of reading.
Even in the trailer, I was like, Chocobo GP.
What the fuck?
You want Final Fantasy
Racing,
Mario
Kart
Kart Racing? We've got... Yeah.
Apparently, this is a series. I saw Umar on Twitter saying the last one came out on PS1. I had no idea this existed.
What? Nor did I. Okay, cool.
So it's a kart racer with lots of Final Fantasy characters.
Stuff, yeah.
I hope we get Cloud in there with his stupid bike.
Kirby and the Forgotten Land, aka The Last of Kirby, or Kirby,
the Kirby of
us.
Yeah,
this is I had no idea, Kirby's first 3D game. I just in my head assumed there was a look at this. This is The Last of Us.
Yeah, it straight up is. It's like a very cutesy apocalyptic world, just like overrun malls and cities and stuff, and then you just got Kirby. So I read yesterday that this game is apparently heavily inspired by Mario Odyssey, which
Sweet.
looking at the gameplay game, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. That
Yep.
definitely looks like it. It looks cute. I think Kirby looks really good. Like this introduction of Kirby just waking up in the sand looks really cute.
Oh, Kirby.
Looks like me in the morning. Oh God.
So upset.
I love this little pink ball. I mean, has there ever been a cuter character? Like, it's just so cute.
I mean, I'm very keen for this. If it's not to jump the gun, but if it's like the Breath of the Wild of the Kirby franchise, then yeah.
I mean, Kirby. The thing people forget is Kirby's always been for children. They are never ever complex games. So
it's time.
yeah.
It's time to give Kirby that complexity.
This looks, I mean, visually, this looks awesome. I think it looks really like a really good style and color to it. So I'm keen. Oh, look at him with the little Zelda hat. Oh, so good.
There.
Kirby's so great. Still the best main in Super Smash Bros.
Absolutely. Dying Light 2. Stay Human is getting a cloud version. Cool. Means nothing to us in South Africa. Triangle Strategy still doesn't have a name unless it is just called Triangle
that is the
Strategy.
name now.
Oh, is that
it used
the name?
to be called Project Triangle, and now it's just called Triangle Strategy.
Cool.
Just fucking ridiculous.
I think there's a new demo coming out, and the game has a release date of March 4th.
Cool.
This is quite interesting. Switch Online is getting an expansion pack, which...
This is some bullshit. I'll tell you that much.
Wow, why is it bullshit? You're paying more.
So we're finally getting Nintendo 64 games on the Nintendo Online subscription, but Nintendo is asking you to pay more for that. Get fucked. I'm sorry. Like,
I don't know how much it costs because the Nintendo Online itself is like dirt cheap as it is.
It's $20 a year, but like, what is it useful? Like, you needed to play online games. You needed to do like any sort of cloud saves for games. And then you get this collection of NES and SNES games, which, like, when was the last time you loaded up that app?
Sure, it's been a long time.
So, this is super on brand for Nintendo to be like, yeah, we want you to pay more to play our small selection of old N64 games. I think it's complete bullshit.
Wait till they throw in some GameCube and Wii games.
I just, also, like, everyone is going fucking mental, like, oh yeah, I can play Ocarina of Time on Switch or Majora's Mask because they announced. Guys, both of those games have remasters on 3DS, which will be much better than these games on Switch, because especially for Majora's Mask, like, they made so many quality of life updates to that 3D to the 3DS version, and the same for Ocarina of Time. Like, I don't get why everyone's excited to play these games which have aged poorly. Which have had good re-releases, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
but in a strange twist in that announcement, you're not only getting Nintendo 64 games, you're getting Sega Genesis games as well.
Wild.
Which just, you and I have both read console wars with Sega versus Nintendo, and I just think to have, it's just weird.
My mind immediately went there. Yeah,
Sega's not not in the console market anymore, but it just, in that era,
bizarre.
I was like,
it's
they
so
were
bizarre.
Big competitors. So
it's just so weird to see that, because it was like literally, Sega does what Nintendo don't, and it's like now the whole Sega Genesis thing is on. You can even buy a wireless Sega Genesis controller for a Nintendo console. It's so fucking weird.
Yeah, and a wireless Nintendo 64 controller. If you want that abomination in your hand.
I would love them to interview what's that guy's name? Tom Kalinske.
Yeah.
Just to be like, have you seen this shit? Like, because he's alive, man. He can react to that. I would love some games media outlet needs to like secure an interview with him just to ask about that. Like,
get his opinion, yeah.
But I guess on top of that, you have the Nintendo 64 and Sega Genesis wireless controllers that you can buy as well. Those are $50 each. Wow.
Cool.
Yeah.
Fuck. Castlevania Advanced Collection, which I think was leaked ahead of the Direct.
Yeah.
So it's basically 4 classic Castlevania games in one package. Area of Sorrow, Harmony of Dissonance, Circle of the Moon, and what am I missing
Dracula
here?
X.
Dracula X.
Which is Rondo of Blood, essentially.
So yeah, I can't say I've played any of those, but that's quite cool. That's a lot of
Mhm.
Castlevania in one package.
And yeah, I mean, they're not Symphony of the Night Castlevania. They are the
No.
hard as balls arcade Castlevania. So yeah.
Cool. And then
Splatoon 3.
we got to look at Splatoon 3. I've never played Splatoon 1 and 2.
I'm fucking shocked at that because I think you would love them.
I should actually keep an eye out for Splatoon 2 if I ever see it on special
so
or
good.
something.
I think I have it as a physical, so I must just give it to you.
Interesting. But yeah,
Splatoon is fantastic.
It's a Nintendo IP, and you know there are very few Nintendo games that I do not like. So
so good. I
mean,
me just from a multiplayer perspective, I love them. But then 2 introduced a single player campaign that was surprisingly good. And this seems to be following suit. The theme for this is like mammals have returned to the world, which I love this little hamster ball thing. I don't know what it is, but it's cool.
It's great.
So yeah, there's like a new city and new actual like characters and stuff like that. So I mean, Splatoon is a multiplayer game. What the fuck is going on? I never saw this stretchy squid person.
What's going on? Seems like a slightly extended trailer compared to what we got.
It does, yeah. I don't recall seeing a lot of this. So maybe I was just still stunned from the Mario movie news, like because it came like right after.
You're like passed out on the floor, foaming at the mouth, like
yeah. I couldn't believe it. So yeah, this is out in 2022. I mean, we knew that already, but it looks great. Looks cool. I love Splatoon. So yeah.
So yeah, that is the Nintendo Direct. So look, some good things in there, but ultimately disappointing for what's coming out this year. Like after Metroid, I don't know. Like there's nothing.
Metroid looks fucking dope. Though.
Yeah, Metroid got a new trailer, but good Lord.
I feel like there's a new trailer every 2 days for that game. It's so I'm so overseeing that game. I just want to play it now. But it's out like 8th of October, so it's like soon.
It's soon,
like 2 weeks from today. So I'm very stoked. I've never played a Metroid, so played a Metroidvania.
Nice. I think you'll appreciate
it. I'm prepared.
Let's just quickly bounce to. We finally have a Switch OLED price locally. 7,999 is what the price is, which it's a lot of moolah.
Expensive,
given that you could get an Xbox Series S for that price if you want. And I say this. Cheaper. Is it $1,000 cheaper? Okay.
Yeah, the Series X is $7,000. Yeah,
and I don't say this as a knock to the Nintendo, but the Series S is a current gen console for all intents and purposes, whereas the Switch is 4 years old. So yeah, I guess I'm in the right tab.
What is the regular price for a normal Switch now? I'm actually just checking the online store quickly because I'm curious. I'm curious what like a premium you are paying for the small differences.
Surely it's 6,999.
It is, yeah, it's 6,999. So you're paying $1,000 more.
Yeah, I think if I'm not mistaken, the OG Switch price did drop locally as well. Was it not? Or was it always 6,999? I don't know.
I think it did drop, or it is going to drop soon with because I know they changed the price in Europe, and I'm not sure if that affects us.
Not sure.
But yeah, I mean, okay, so at 6,999 is still a fucking lot of money for a Switch, in my view.
Well, you could get a Switch Lite for 4,999, I think.
The Switch Lite is 4,800. Yeah, so
yeah, which still expensive, but that's way more affordable.
Yeah, but like you see, so here's the weird thing: is like if you still don't have a Switch, like my view is that for the extra 1,000, it would be worth it. I still think 7,000 for a Switch is too much. But obviously there's loads of factors that go into that.
Yeah.
But I think if you are going to be spending $7,000, I would go with spending just the $8,000 for the OLED, the better kickstand, which is huge, the better dock. So yeah, that makes sense. As an existing Switch owner,
no, I don't think you and I are the target audience.
I can't justify to myself $8,000 to spend.
Don't get me wrong. I'd love to have one, but I can't.
I'd love to, and I'm pretty sure it's going to look great because I've got an OLED TV. Like OLED is fucking awesome, and it is a huge jump in quality, like in terms of color and like contrast. So it will definitely look good. And I bet you Metroid was selected as a launch title specifically to show that
for
off.
that, yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Like I keep going back and forth. Like, could I sell my current Switch and get the OLED? And I'm pretty sure I'd still have to pay in a good, like $3,000-$4,000.
Yeah, I think you
after
could
the
probably
fact,
get 3 to
so-
4 for your current Switch, maybe.
And it's like, do I want to do that? Yeah, I don't know.
It is tempting. Don't get
It is
me wrong.
tempting. It is tempting, but yeah, I don't. Maybe my mind will change when we get hands on with the OLED Switch, and I actually look at the differences between the two. But without that context, even knowing how good OLED is, I still can't justify it to myself. But I do think that if you're a new buyer,
100%. Yeah. Get the OLED Switch. It'd be not silly, but like just bite the bullets and pay the extra grand. It'll be worth it, I think.
With it. I also really like that white colorway.
And it's funny that I think they sent out a newsletter. I just never occurred to me you can buy this just with the OG red and blue controllers. In my head, I was like, it's only in this white.
No, it's gorgeous in the white. I think it's gorgeous, yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Some other quick bits of news. Let's fly through them. This made me laugh so much. So
please walk me through this, because I love that you shared this to me and you were just like, what the fuck?
Death Stranding Director's Cut is coming to PS5. And
it's out on PS5, yeah.
It is out on PS5. And it's funny because like literally yesterday, you and I got code for it. Like, cool. I wonder how the save transfer works, because most of the PS5 games that have come to modern gen have been like bullshit. Final Fantasy VII Remake is the biggest culprit of like, I had to download my PS4 game, upload my cloud save, download it on my PS5 game. Like, it was
Spider-Man was
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. Okay. This though, like, it's actually the same thing, but it makes me laugh. And I kind of, as ridiculous as it is, I'm still like hat off to Kojima, because this is premium Kojima bullshit, but I love it. So if you want to pick up Death Stranding, you us, okay, you've played Death Stranding on PS4, you got a PS5 now, you want to jump back into, this Wasteland America, deliver some packages. If you want to transfer your save to PS5, you have to download the PS4 version of the game, or just boot up the PS4 version of the game. From my understanding, there'll be a quest which sees you literally delivering your save file somewhere.
It's fucking ridiculous. And I respect
ridiculous.
The absurdity of it. It really, like, you are literally delivering your save file to your new PS5.
But it's quite interesting. It's actually, look, I acknowledge it's bullshit, and I'm angry, but yet amazed at the same time. But I do acknowledge that it's kind of clever in that you'll be forced to do the PS4 version, even if it's for 5 minutes. And then you're going to jump straight into the PS5 version, and you'll see the difference between the two.
It'll be like immediate, yeah.
Which I'm like, that's kind of clever.
It's smart. I mean, you'd say, oh, that's a clever marketing thing, but if you're doing that, you've already got the game, so the marketing worked already. Like, it's good.
I just laughed though. I couldn't believe it. I was like, of course, Kojima, have you hand deliver your save file?
I could not believe it.
What if I fall over and my save file falls into the water?
Corrupt, man. I mean, you've seen Kojima. He has no qualms wiping people's people's fucking saves. Like,
I can't.
Next thing Psycho Mantis comes, he's like, I'm making a controller rumble. Ugh.
Oh
my god.
Other news.
I am very keen to pop back into that though.
Me too.
So, yeah.
So this ongoing affair with Apple and Epic. We know, I think we touched on it last week, that for all intents and purposes, Epic lost all of their cases.
9 out of 10, yeah.
9 out of 10. But yeah, fast forward to this week, and Fortnite has been blacklisted by Apple.
Yeah, so essentially the short of it is that Epic is obviously going to appeal, even though the ruling that it won was like the big one, because it now it's forcing Apple to allow app developers to, give them an option to break out to third-party payment systems. They don't have to go through the App Store, which was the big one. Now Apple says that until court proceedings are done, Fortnite will not be allowed back onto the App Store. And the quote from Tim Sweeney there, if you can just scroll down a
Oh,
little
sure.
scooch,
There you go.
says Apple lied. Apple spent a year telling the world, the court, and the press they'd welcome Epic's return to the App Store if they agreed to play by the same rules as everyone. Epic agreed, and now Apple has reneged in another abuse of its monopoly power over 1 billion users. So,
Hectic.
I do think this seems a bit like a bad move on Apple's part, because this just does give Epic ammunition to prove that they are a monopoly, which is one of the accounts that the court couldn't find in favor of Epic. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm really tired of this thing right now, and I'm really tired of Tim Sweeney also making the case that he's fighting for the little people when he's not really. So yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. This happened pretty recently, but Crystal Dynamics.
Yeah,
is
I woke
working...
up to this news. What the fuck?
Yeah. So Crystal Dynamics, people who made the recent Tomb Raider trilogy reboots.
They made the originals too.
And the originals, they are working on the new Perfect Dark game. But it's I think it's not them exclusively. They're teaming up with another studio, the Initiative.
Yeah. So the Initiative is like Microsoft's newest in-house studio. And they announced, that they were doing Perfect Dark. I think they announced it last year already, but then it was like pretty early. So yeah, now it's being co-developed with Crystal Dynamics, which, like, this is not unusual. You look at any big release, look at a Naughty Dog game. It's not just them. They have lots of outsourcing studios. It's just weird to see a studio like the Initiative, which is Microsoft built as the first quad A studio, whatever the fuck, and they remoting out work to Crystal Dynamics, which itself is a pretty big studio, and on top of it, not a Microsoft studio, which is the most confusing part of this. So I don't know.
Is
that's cool. I did read that the game director for Perfect Dark, that is at the Initiative, is formerly of Crystal Dynamics. So it might actually make sense that it's instead of getting a new team and onboarding, let's get people we are familiar with working with and just get this going. You know what I mean? So, and they're also familiar with third-person action games. So
I have never played Perfect Dark, but I'm eager to see what this one looks like. And last piece of news in the ongoing Activision Blizzard. Every week, I swear we've had something to say about this whole thing. Executive in charge of Overwatch 2 leaves Blizzard, which is just, the sub-headline here. Another high-profile member of Activision Blizzard has left the company. It just begs the question, what is going on there? I don't know.
I mean, if I had the choice and the financial stability to not be involved anymore, I would probably do the same, because I mean, Bobby Kotick got subpoenaed again for other stuff, is being sued for all sorts of other stuff now. I don't blame people who have the ability to get out, because that's not the case for everyone. But that would be cool. To get out,
which
it seems like a bad time.
Has me scratching my head about Overwatch 2 even more. I don't know.
Jesus,
I don't know what's going on with that game.
I have no idea what that game is. Honestly, I'm so curious to see it. When is it? Next month that they're showing it at the
Blizz? No,
not BlizzCon.
Sorry, the
Overwatch,
whatever it is. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So I guess we'll see. But that is this week's gaming news. We've got some a Mario movie and everything else, I guess. Shall we get to questions? Let's get some questions done, because we have gone long in the tooth here.
Yes. If you want to send us questions, you can email us checkpointchatpodcast@gmail.com. You can also find us on social media at Checkpoint Chat, on all the social channels, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. All there. Can ask us questions. All there.
Okay, we have... This hurts me in my soul. Oh, wait, I'm the wrong profile here. We have a question from Keegan_Bestabash who says, Silksong when?
I'm in so much pain.
I mean,
all the time.
There were rumors going around yesterday that Silksong's got a Feb March 22 listing or something, and I was like, maybe it's going to appear at the direct.
At this point, I feel like it's just going to be a shadow drop. Like when it's announced, it might just be like an Axiom Verge 2 sort of thing. Yeah.
Can you imagine?
Because there's no way that it will just resurface and be like, yeah, it's coming out in a year. I don't believe that.
My goodness.
Maybe I'm naive for believing that, but yeah. It's just pain, man. It's another direct without Silksong.
Yeah.
It fucking hurts me, but it is.
We have a question from Chillo who just says Avada Kedavra? ?
I'd love to cast its spell on Cello.
Wow. We have this is my favorite question this week. One from my own wife, Lenska Tweedy, says, do you sweep with one hand or two hands?
Do you
sweep with one hand?
Oh, sweep. I thought you said sleep. I was like, what does sleeping have to do with hands?
So let me preface this by saying that in my in-law family group, my mother-in-law said a group saying like, oh, one of my colleagues' husbands also sweeps with one hand.
What?
And so I was like, what is the context of this story? And I was like, who sweeps with one hand? And then I learned that my father-in-law, Tom, sweeps with one hand. And
I was about to say there's a lot to unpack there because it's the also throws me. It's like, wait, who else does this?
Yeah, so I was like, in my head, I'm just like, why? Why would you?
Why would you do
with one hand?
How?
So me very vexed by this revelation that these people exist. My own family.
You married into this.
I married into this hell. I put it on Twitter. I put a poll up. I said, for science, do you sweep with one hand or two? And can I tell you that my Twitter polls usually get like, let's say 20 to 30 votes. Mm-hmm. This poll got 81 votes. So there's great interest in this topic. And to my shock still, even though it's a small percentage, 8.6% sweep with one hand.
So 10% of the voters almost.
So that's like at least 7 to 8 people. 6 to 8 people sweep with one hand.
Fucking
I'm just like, why?
I'm just curious as to how. Like, it seems so much harder. Like, because when you're sweeping, you're using one hand for the strength and one hand for the, you're getting that angle.
To direct it.
Yeah, exactly. So with one hand, you just like, and it gets stuck on like the grooves of the tiles and it just like, it just seems like you're bad at sweeping. I bet like after you're done sweeping with one hand, there's still like fucking dust everywhere. So
it's funny because we came up at we shared some good Francos together last night, and
you shared pizza with people who sweep with one hand.
Sorry, we ate we feasted on Francos together, and it came up, and my father-in-law had swept the floor that day, and he was like, I can't believe you guys are making such a fuss about it. You could eat off this floor. It's so clean. We were like,
I would not. If I knew you swept with one hand, I would barely walk barefoot on that floor. Like, So Lenska asked this question: where does she fall? Because obviously she's split now with her parents.
We're in the two-handed group here, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm guessing you're a two-handed person yourself.
Clipping this without context would be awful. Absolutely awful.
I want to make a timestamp.
Oh God, you're a two-handed man yourself. Oh, that's the episode title right there.
Great, I love it.
Good Lord.
What up with this?
I'm frozen in time laughing though, but it's great.
Why does that keep happening?
I don't know. It's fantastic. So many technical issues today. But I would love to know, if you're a listener and you sweep with one hand, I would love to know like a proper rationale for why. Like, who hurt you in a past life, or who didn't teach you how a broom works in a past life.
Yeah, I don't know.
Do you vacuum with one hand too?
No, you can't do one-handed.
You can't.
It's impossible. It's not impossible, but it's not right.
What are other like activities that need to be done two-handed?
I
do
mean, they
you
exist.
do you lawn mower with one hand?
Oh, that's a good one.
Do you clean the
Do you rake the lawn with one hand?
Imagine cleaning the pool with one hand.
Impossible.
Just with the net.
Actually,
I mean,
impossible.
you sometimes do it when the leaf is very far and you need to get that reach, like, but then you reel it in and then you use your two hands again.
You use both arms.
Do you fish with one hand? How does that work?
You never. How do you reel it in?
Exactly. You use your toes or something. I don't know. One hand and one foot.
Yeah,
do you drive with one hand? I drive with one hand. It's okay.
It was a great source of amusement yesterday. The actual what the F.
You know what would be funny though? If he swept with one hand, but then, knowing how people eat pizza, if he ate pizza with two hands.
Oh, yeah. They're like, he seems completely flabbergasted that we are confused by his one-handed thing, yet he eats pizza with two hands. Like, why did you eat that one-handed?
So do you, okay, I need to ask this. Do you eat pizza with one hand?
One hand?
Mm-hmm. Do you do the fold?
Absolutely. Fold the crust in, and that's it.
Mm-hmm. That's what actually bugs me a little bit.
Only monsters do not fold the crust.
Oh, of course. No, you have to break it right in the middle, and then you
fold it in half. Yeah, there we go.
The place near me that does great pizza, I'll have you over once. Nonamias, they do the square pizzas, which makes the fold a bit tricky because the slices are a lot bigger, and when you fold,
it's like doubling up.
Well, yeah, when it's triangle, because it comes to a central point, the fold makes sense. But when it's square, the weight is evenly distributed across the whole thing. So the front still flops down.
Do you think triangle strategy on the Switch is all about the arts of folding pizza?
I think so, yeah. I think every party member needs to use one hand and break it down the middle. So
my goodness.
I must say, though, as much as I like pizza, square pizza is definitely better. You get more toppings, get a lot more cheese.
You get a lot more. You just get more bang for your buck.
Yeah.
And we have some questions from Mix, who says, has Matthew finally bought the Final Fantasy VII Remake soundtrack, or did he stop listening to it? I did not buy it because it is on Spotify now. It was officially released a couple of months ago. It wasn't on Spotify, so I was relying on people who had uploaded it to YouTube. But it's since been officially released on Spotify, and I've got Spotify Premium. So I do have a selection of my favorite songs from the soundtrack that I use and listen to when I run, and it's a great time.
Just have the Scorpion battle on repeat. Just a fucking
non-stop
breakdown when you're hitting that uphill. You just it's great.
And then last question: what are your top 8 most played games on Steam? So there's an actual method to check it, but I'm not going to open my Steam now because it's been a long time. I can tell you off the top of my head.
Oh, is there? Well, give me the method.
Do you want the method?
Mm.
Okay. Well, then I'll do it too. I guess we were just going to take I don't know when last I opened my Steam.
I opened it pretty recently, so that's why I'm pretty sure mine's updated and all that. Is it like something you do on Steam?
It's something you do on Steam. So you click on your Steam name.
I just want to stop downloading everything because otherwise all of my shit is going to... Oh, okay, this UI has changed. Why can I not just pause everything? Okay, there we go.
My goodness.
Paused. So I go.
You click on your name in the top right, I think.
Yeah.
You say view my profile. You click on games, which is just down in the bottom right there.
What, like games owned or?
No, so just in the right tab, there's a thing that says profile, awards, badges, games, I presume.
Oh, there, yeah. Got you.
Games, you click that.
This is riveting.
Sort
by playtime.
Yeah, go all games and then sort by playtime. Oh boy.
Mine are so skewed because of work. So
oh no.
So my top one, I'm just seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. God, fuck, you're gonna laugh at me.
Ready.
So my top one, 311 hours, is Broforce.
What?
And the reason
you were testing it or something.
Yeah, so I worked in it, and like even though we were launching builds through Unity, it still needed to be tied to a Steam account. And
amazing.
I used my personal one, so
hilarious.
That's I had like weeks of 8 hours a day of playing Broforce. So That's funny. You're gonna laugh at the second one though.
It's Dota, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Dota.
Dota, nice. Cool. How many hours in Dota?
169
Nice.
hours.
Rookie
Nice.
numbers. Cool.
I mean, it is
third.
rookie numbers. I mean, a lot of that, I guess, is watching the international, because I think watching the international through the client is so much better.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, the one after this, and I assume this is just because I've kept it open for so long, is 3D Mark. You know, the benchmarking software.
Yeah. Holy shit.
Yeah, I mean, I used to do lots of reviews. Yeah, 128 hours of 3D Mark, which is
like it.
ridiculous.
Amazing.
Now we're getting into more like actual decent numbers here. So I got Borderlands 2, 122 hours. That makes sense.
Borderlands 2 is also on my list, FYI.
Call of Duty Black Ops multiplayer. I played a lot of Black Ops multiplayer, 110 hours.
Damn.
Yeah, I played a lot. Then I'm actually not sure why this is here, but XCOM Enemy Unknown, 78 hours. I must have left it open someday. That doesn't seem right to me. Because
you were big into that game. Damn.
Oh, you know what I think it is? My cousin loved that game, and he used to play a lot when he was over. So yeah.
Damn, you've had your cousin over a lot, clearly.
Yeah, he fucking adores that game. So
amazing.
Yeah. My last 2 year, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer, 77 hours. Also love that multiplayer. And then this one's curious because I actually don't like this game. Fallout 4, 72 hours.
What?
I'm pretty sure I played other games a lot more than that, but I straight up.
Sure.
And I mean, not far below that is Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim, another game I also did not enjoy, but I've got 50 hours of it. So
that's crazy.
Yeah. That's my
this is actually.
top 8.
Sorry, I scrolled all the way to the bottom. I want to see what is my least played, but it shows you all the games you own, even if you haven't played some of them. So don't do that. Okay. My number 1. No guesses what that is. Dota 2. How many hours?
Shock and horror. I'm gonna guess 600 plus.
4,416 hours.
4,000.
We're talking years of only playing Dota for like.
I have to do the calculation. Yeah.
3 to 5 hours per day. For like many years, and also leaving it open for the international, doing all sorts of shenanigans. How many years of my life? I think it's like a year. I've worked it out before.
It's 167 days.
Yep.
That's a lot. So much time.
It is a lot of time.
That is crazy.
It is so much. Wow. Okay. Number 2. I'll let you guess that one. It should be pretty obvious.
Counter-Strike.
Counter-Strike. 691 hours on Counter-Strike.
Okay. That's okay, hold on. I closed it. Hours, 2 days. 600.
That's not too bad. Yeah, it's
25 days.
30 days.
It's like your annual leave of just playing Dota.
But remember, Counter-Strike, I played it when it launched like 10 years ago however many years ago, and obviously recently. Number 3, Borderlands 2, 170 hours.
Nice.
Number 4, Warframe, 163 hours. I played a lot of Warframe back in the day. Number 5.
That's weird though, because Warframe and Borderlands 2 are around about the same time, weren't they?
No, I played Warframe after Borderlands 2, I think.
Okay.
Number 5, Team Fortress 2, 129 hours. Not too. I thought I played more of that, to be honest.
Oh, yeah. I'm actually kind of surprised that's not on mine, because I remember playing a lot of that too. Weird. It's not even. I must have played on a different account then, because it's like not even appearing on my list at all.
Yeah,
so
that's weird.
That doesn't make sense. Yeah.
Number 6, Left 4 Dead 1, 122 hours. I played a lot of
122 hours. Holy shit.
Number 7, PUBG, 101 hours. I was big into PUBG when that was a wild time when battle royales were a thing. I was like, this is fantastic. I played a lot of PUBG.
PUBG's on mine as well, a bit further down. Really good. Really good game.
And then number 8, Left 4 Dead 2, 100 hours. I played a lot of Left 4 Dead. And then these
so
two,
all of your games are multiplayer games, which I guess makes sense. Yeah.
No, but I'll round it up to. I mean, Borderlands 2 is the only one that isn't. Let me just make it a top 10. The Witcher 3, 76 hours.
Oh, you played it on Steam. Okay.
And then Hades, 62 hours.
Wait, Hades on PC? That's confusing. Did you play it on PC?
Yeah, I played it on Steam.
I thought you played it on the Switch.
No. I played it on Steam. It's a good time.
Oh, so confused. I honestly thought you had played it on Switch.
No,
Okay.
it's Steam for life from the Hades. And then this one, I'm only throwing this in. Sorry, this is number 11. I have 44 hours on a game called Rift. Do you know what Rift is?
No.
I have no recollection of playing
Rift.
this game.
I've never heard of Rift.
What the hell is Rift and why did I have 44 hours in it? It's like I legitimately do not know. That is so weird. Don't know.
So I just looked at Team Fortress 2. So this is weird. In my library it says I've only played 100 minutes, but I've got like so many achievements unlocked, and then when I go into it, it's like on record I've got 50 hours of gameplay.
That's weird. But
strange.
You played it before Steam tracked time.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there, but yeah.
Wild.
But that still wouldn't be on my top 11 then, which is surprising to me. So yeah.
But yeah, that's that. That's all our top played Steam games.
That was pretty cool. I genuinely didn't know I had like a benchmark tool as one of my highest. So that's
hilarious.
That's interesting.
Play more games. Please.
I'm just more flawed that I think your Dota 2 time is probably more than my entire Steam library.
Listen, I played a lot of Dota. Unashamedly, I loved that game. I've got good memories in that game. I've got some bad memories of that game, but it was a good time overall. So yeah,
that's all that counts, man. It's all the friends you made along the way.
Doesn't matter if you lose, as long as you're playing with friends.
Yeah, unless it's cello.
Unless it's cello. Yeah, and that's it. That's all the questions for this week.
If you want to send us questions, you can email us checkpointchatpodcast@gmail.com. You can also message us on all our social platforms at Checkpoint Chat, on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, all there. And that has been episode 162 of Checkpoint Chat. We hope you have a lovely, we hope you had a lovely long weekend. And are ready for the full week ahead. Welcome to the hell of Monday. Woo.
Hooray.
We're getting near the end of the year. It's okay. Don't worry. Thank you so much for listening, as always. And we will see you next week.
Time.
Okay, bye.